Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Allie, and today I have a new vlog for you. I am going to be doing a day in the life, fallish type vlog while reading Fourth Wing. So I started Fourth Wing yesterday, and I made it to about 150-ish pages. I think I made it to like chapter 13, and decided today I would get up and do a day in the life vlog. So that's exactly what I did. We're gonna go back to this morning where I picked up where I left off at around chapter 13. You guys, I finally got my hands on Fourth Wing from my library. I have just really been utilizing the library and just absolutely loving it this year. Our library has been like, they're connected. It's like a chain of libraries. So like if our library doesn't have a book, the one next to it probably does, and then they send it over. It's just been so nice. I'm sure a lot of places do it like that, but it's been so nice. I've barely bought books this year, but I have read more books this year than I have in the past 10 years. It's very doable with a library, and libraries are so important to keep going as well. So I love supporting the local library. This book is beefy, you guys, and I went into this yesterday and I was going to vlog, but I was it was an off day for me. It wasn't a good vlogging day, so I just didn't. I definitely feel a lot better today, and I feel like I can like tackle today and do some fun things. I want to make some Starbucks pumpkin muffins. This is a very day in the life, bookish fall vibes is what I'm going for here, because I just want today to feel like fall while I read Fourth Wing. So I did start this yesterday, so I've already read. So I wanted to check in with you this morning before I get Axie ready for school. I did not know what to expect going into this. I have been this year very adventurous with my reading. My Sagittarius is like shining with my reading this year. I'm reading genres that I never thought I would like, genres I've never read from before. And two of those from last year, I started reading more sci-fi, and I was shocked by how much I actually like a lot of that, but it definitely has to be more horror sci-fi. Just like sci-fi with fantasy, I've realized that like, I don't really know if I'm a fantasy girl. I just don't know if it's for me, but I have been reading more fantasy, like maybe like The Wayward Kids and like Darker Shade of Magic and, you know, V.E. Schwab, stuff like that. But like those are more like, they definitely have like the adventure aspect to them, but at the same time, they're kind of like dark tales, even like horror elements. So I think it's the same like with sci-fi. I can read fantasy, but it has to be dark and it has to be horror. And that's kind of what I've been seeing with my reading a lot recently, to where going into something like this, don't get me wrong, I think it's going to be very brutal and there's going to be a lot of like action. To chapter 13 yesterday. 154 pages, and it's definitely brutal. There's a lot of action. It definitely, in a lot of ways, is reminding me of like the Hunger Games. Like it's giving me those type of adventure vibes. So I think I would enjoy reading this, but I'm not gonna lie. I would say probably the first 3, 4, 5-ish chapters. I don't know for sure where it was, but I just kept thinking like, this isn't for me. Like, I mean, I can understand why people like this, but this isn't really doing it for me. Like, I just don't think I'm a fantasy person. I like the idea of like dragons and, you know, stuff like that. But again, I have to have more of like this horror element going on. I think as it goes, I'm sure with it being like more brutal and a lot of bloodshed and stuff like that, like it's going to be more my pace. But at the same time, it's hard when it's something like this, because like they're gonna make you fall in love with these characters and then like, you know, keep like killing them off or whatever. And that does get kind of like hard, I guess, for me to read. I do like it because it definitely is still like more my speed with like horror books and stuff like that. But horror has a good way of like making you not really like care for the characters as much. So you just have to try to find that balance, I guess, between the two. I don't think it was until like after chapter 6-ish, I don't know, somewhere in between, I would say past at least 50-ish pages of reading this that I started to be like, okay, like, it's picking up pace in a direction that I actually like. I'm like excited to see where it goes, and I even found myself like setting it down and being like, I don't want to set this down. Like, I want to keep reading. I want to pick it back up. I cannot wait to start reading it again. So I am really excited about that. But I don't know. I still just kind of have like those lingering thoughts. Like, I just don't know in the end if this is going to be like my cup of tea. I don't know. It's very different for me. Outside of my comfort zone, I'm really going there with this one. But I also don't know if this is the type where I'll end up liking it, but it'll be like not on the same level as like my favorite reads, if you will. But I'm just so glad it's at least taken a little bit of a turn, because reading this yesterday with the mood I was already in and how good my reading has been this month, when I started this book, I was like, this is going to send me into a reading slump. Like, that's the vibes I was getting with it. So I'm so glad it turned around. I'm so glad that I am like excited to pick this up and keep reading it. And I only hope that it stays brutal and more adventure and like, you know, those type of like aspects, I guess. I really don't want to spoil in this vlog, but I will say some of the elements that I'm just kind of not sure about is like the dragons, I guess, like you can like talk to them, and I guess like when a dragon claims you, you can hear each other's thoughts and stuff, or something along those lines. I haven't got there yet with any interactions like that with the dragons. I mean, she has talked to the dragons, but like they haven't talked back. But I swear somebody said something about a dragon talking to them. I'm like, see, that kind of stuff, I might just like be like, okay, this isn't gonna work for me. I don't know. We'll see. But I will keep you guys posted, but I'm gonna really try to make this non-spoilery. I feel like if I do have to go there with this, because I've heard the ending is jaw-dropping. So if I do need to go there with spoilers, maybe I'll save it for this afternoon and talk to you guys about like spoilers I might have for it then. But I gotta go get my kiddo up and get him fed and ready for breakfast. Fed and ready for school. And then I'm going to drop him off and then hopefully go for my walk and read some more. I did go ahead and get the audiobook on Scribd, so I will listen to that for a little bit during my walk maybe, unless I'm in the mood for music. And then maybe update you guys when I get back home and throughout the day, because I really want to finish this book today, and it's going to be quite the task with how much I have left.
Stop staring, be quiet. Look at me, there I go, choking on my silence. And I don't think you want me cause I wanna keep it private. And I don't think you know me if you're not one of my 5 friends. But it's my own fault, I can't give in. I have to go, suck up on the top. Interest in my grab though, too many confoes. The reason I struggle because I'm fucking shy. I never wanna show my face sometimes. And I got trouble looking people in the eye. Cause when I do I just forget off. I wanna do it, I'ma feel like I'ma die.
Alright you guys, I just got back home, so I'm still like sweaty. Whew. I got a really good workout in though, or walk in. It's like a little under 1.5 miles. But not bad. I'm still just been taking it easy, so this was 30 minutes, which I know isn't like great for a mile and almost 1.5 miles, but I've been taking it really easy because if I am too aggressive with it, like my shins are really bad because I get like shin splints, so I'm trying to work my way up to where I can start like jogging and then running again. But yeah, baby steps. I may even look into like, there are like certain like tape and stuff like that, or like maybe like a brace. I don't know, just something to kind of like help support my shins a little bit because I miss jogging and running so much. And I would just like to be able to get more miles in about the same amount of time, because I am just somebody that like, I like getting out there and doing it, but once I'm out there, I'm just like, I have so much to do at home. I need to wrap this up, you know? So anyways, I feel good that I got it in though. I am back home. It was actually popping this morning, the cemetery. Besides the ghost cat that was following me around, but would not let me come near it or pet it, there was actually quite a few people there, so I wasn't really able to vlog there too much, but I didn't give you guys any type of like synopsis or anything on Fourth Wing earlier. I guess for me, it's just so popular and it's literally everywhere that you guys have probably seen this. You probably get the gist. And if you've seen the cover, you see dragons, you kind of know, but it is very much fantasy. I believe we're going to have romance in this series as well, although we haven't dabbled too much into that so far. So this is following Violet, who, I'm not good, you guys, at describing fantasy books. There's just so much into them, so it's like, how do I describe this? But there is kind of like this like world, and pretty much it's almost like army, like military base. So they are, although I have to say, we haven't touched on that too much on like why there's so much training and stuff like that. Like, they haven't really talked too much about like what wars and stuff like that are going on. I'm sure we're going to find out later in the series or even in this book maybe, but this just kind of starts with Violet pretty much going into training, and she was supposed to be what they call a scribe. She's supposed to go the scribe quadrant, which is not so like physical, it's more so like the knowledge and just like learning about things, and like I believe like the tactics and having all the information to give to the people who are going to actually be doing like the physical, like out there in war. They have like a dragon that claims them or whatever, that whole ordeal. But her mom, who we find out is like, I don't necessarily want to say like ruler. I think she's more so maybe like in charge of like quadrants as far as like that goes. It's confusing to explain, but I also am like riding a fine line of like not wanting to spoil anything either or give too much away, because I really think that you should go into it as is. What I can say is I thought that this was going to be a lot for me to take in. I just recently have been reading A Darker Shade of Magic series, and that first book about took me. Like, there's so much world building, so much characters, everything else. And I mean, like, so glad that series is V.E. Schwab, because she has just a way to wrap everything together and make it a little bit more easier. But like, I feel like the first like 75% of that book is just like, your head is spinning, you're trying to keep up with everything. And I know it's going to be easier for me going into the second book versus the first, but it's still like, it's just a lot to take in. So I'm like, if this is every fantasy book, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for like another one so soon. But I can say this one is very adaptable. Like, I feel like that's not a whole lot for me to, I'm still figuring out things, but I feel like they're doing it in a way to where I'm kind of left in the dark with a lot of things, but at the same time, I don't feel overwhelmed. Like, I'm being able to pick up on everything fairly easily. I don't feel like it's too much information all at once. So I actually really, really like it. I can say there's been times where like we're learning about like the different wings. Her mom is the commanding general. She has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of, pronounce this wrong, Navir, the Dragon Riders. So it's a very tough thing. It's almost like, it's giving like Hunger Games vibes, although it's not like a game as much as like they're training for things and then they have to like compete. So they just did like almost like a ninja warrior course. But it's like if you fall off, like it's not just like, oh man, you're out. No, you die. So it's definitely brutal, and you know, you have to go into it knowing that like you may not come out alive. And so the training, I think I just got through all of that, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure there's going to be like more to like come. But once you get through a certain part of the training, an amount of people are still standing, but there's different wings of like groups pretty much. So she is placed into the fourth wing. And I think there was like 9 people in the wing starting out. And so, I mean, people are dying left and right from every wing with each thing going on. On top of that, it's just in a time where people are very brutal with each other. So, I mean, if they don't like you, they might just try to kill you, you know? Can be very intense at times, and I think that those elements of it, though, keep me more intrigued with it, and with the overall plot. I feel like it's been very entertaining. I'm still kind of in the same place as I was before, as far as, like, some of the fantasy things, not really knowing, like, if it's going to be my cup of tea, and hoping that the author just does it in a way that's not cringe for me, but, like, enjoyable. And so far, so good. I feel like the more I've read it, it's gotten better and better and better. I will say that. And I definitely am intrigued. I know that this isn't like a DNF or something that, like, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I definitely want to finish it. I still just don't know, even now, 200 pages in, I don't know where I'm at with this. Because I feel like thinking about, like, talking dragons and stuff like that was just kind of like, ugh, to me. But if that kind of, like, turns you off on the book too, she actually does it in a way that's decent. So it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be now that we've gotten there. But it still is, like, different for me. But I'm not hating it either. So after their trainings, they are then placed into, like, being pretty much thrown out there with the dragons. And it's just kind of like, it's up to the dragon to claim you. Some people don't get claimed at all by a dragon. Some people die from the dragons. And there's, like, not only a certain amount of dragons come in that are ready to claim. And if they just fly off, then there's nobody there that's worthy enough for them to claim, pretty much. So yeah, that's about where I am at. I just got past that part. And besides that, Violet is making friends with people in her wing. Obviously, you have to kind of, like, you can't trust too many people here, but she also has a lot of enemies because her mom has done a bunch of terrible things. And has been, like, the person responsible for, like, killing some of these people's, like, family members and stuff because they were bad or whatever. But again, I feel like we're going to learn more and more about that as we go, but we can already tell that, like, Violet has a strained relationship with her mother. But besides that, we of course have met the Zayden, the brooding. He feels like he's supposed to be, like, an antagonist to a certain extent, but I think it's also kind of an enemies to lover situation going on. We will see where that goes, but we feel like he is out for her. He, you know, wants to kill her, but I also feel like we're getting, like, little messages here and there that, like, he is also maybe, like, into her. There's also her childhood friend, Dane, who has been there, and he has pretty much, like, begged her to leave and go against her mom's wishes and go back to the scribe quadrant. But she is pushing through and doing what she wants to do. So, Dane has been kind of annoying to me. I'm not really liking his character. And with Zayden, I am liking it, but at the same time, I really hope this isn't the type of fantasy where I definitely can't get into the men acting like they own women and treating them terrible. I hope that's not the case moving forward, because if it is, I will be so turned off by this series so fast, but we'll see. I am going to clean myself up and get something to eat, stuff like that, settle it back in, read some more, and I'll check in a little bit.
I prefer to stay inside with the lights off. Text before you call me because otherwise it might fall through. And it's social, but I had it so well. The crowd's getting loud and my vibe in the stairwell. Cause it's my own fault, I can't give in. I have to go, stuck up on the top floor. Apologize, cause my goodbyes. Let's reschedule when I'm not shy. And I don't wanna show my face sometimes. And I got trouble looking people in the eye. Cause when I do, I just forget all. And when I do it, I'ma feel like I'ma die. There to share my story. If you hear this song, no, it's not you, it's me, I'm sorry. I don't wanna be the reason why you make this little lie. What's the point of having pointless conversations for one night? Cause I'm shy, I never wanna show my face sometimes. And I got trouble looking people in the eye. Cause when I do, I just forget I wanna do it, I'ma feel like I'ma die. I never
a little bit more put together as far as like being clean, not sweating anymore. The muffins are currently in the oven, so I thought while they're in the oven and I'm waiting for them, because I do not want to burn them, I still need to film and do makeup. I did do my hair and then I just threw it up in my little Jason clip, but I am going to put my jewelry and stuff on and film around the same time that the muffins are going to be coming out of the oven. It was a process, but they looked so good going into the oven, so like I have really high hopes for how they're going to turn out and I cannot wait. But definitely, if you guys have not tried Starbucks pumpkin muffins, oh my god, they're so good. If you like pumpkin rolls and stuff like that, you'll love their muffins so much. The only thing I didn't have, so you make like the pumpkin muffin mixture, you make a like cheesecake mixture, and then you also are supposed to make like this like crumble topping, which is not like an actual crumble, it's actually pumpkin seeds. But I bought pumpkin seeds from the store, but they're like salted ones, and I was like, well, I could still probably wash them because then you have to like caramelize them in the like skillet, and then you put them on the muffin to also roast in the oven. So I was like, I could probably just like wash them really good, caramelize them, put them on, stick them in the oven. Okay, my kids ate the entire bag. They love pumpkin seeds, so it did not last in my house more than like 2 days, and I didn't get to a day where I could actually film this because I wanted to when they were at school. So yeah, minus the pumpkin seeds. I'm gonna have to make them again, maybe like around the time we're roasting seeds from our actual pumpkins in October. But I don't know, high hopes, because the muffin batter and the cheesecake both like turned out looking really good. So they are in the oven right now, pretty quick. I think it's just like 20 minutes. So I wanted to check in with you guys on Fourth Wing because I am making quite a dent in this, you guys. I have Find My Place because while I did muffins, I was listening to the audiobook, but I only have like that much left. I'm so excited. What I did not anticipate, which, I mean, obviously I heard that this is like a fantasy romance, but with how brutal they have been and stuff, I guess I didn't anticipate like this level of spiciness. You know, I anticipated romance for sure. We all see it coming a mile away, but like, it's spicy. It's pretty spicy. That's where I do just have to say, and I've said this like in my last vlog that I actually did a day in the life, I read Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I'll link it up above if you guys missed it, but I even said in that one, I kind of get tired like of books doing the repeated, like once people are there and like in love, then it's like bam, 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 like it's just sex scene after sex scene after sex scene. I'm like, can we not like spread it out just like a little bit? And I mean, she does in this, but it's still just so just like bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, okay. With how far I have come to, I do know that I'm going to have a spoiler section towards the end. I know I will probably have a disclaimer in the beginning of this video when I do the intro, when I do my makeup on, that there is some things that you may not want to know before reading the book, so you might want to read the book before, but I'm obviously not giving you guys any like full-on spoilers until the spoiler section. But yeah, it's getting pretty intense, and I feel like there's going to be some type of like third act conflict just around the corner. So I am anticipating that. I can just feel it in my bones, but I don't know. I have a couple different theories. So I will let you guys know in the spoiler section, I guess, if I got the you know, that conflict correct. But I'm kind of seeing it, and I think I'm still a little ways away from it, but I know that I could also be like way off, so we will see. But I just kind of want to check in with you guys. I am enjoying it more and more and more as I read it. I still feel like there's times where I'm just like, I don't know, like I have like some critiques. The main character, I kind of wish I loved her more than I do. I'm kind of having a hard time with her because I feel like there's a character named Dane who is her like childhood friend, who kind of has like a little bit of like chemistry there for her as well. And pretty much the entire book has been one after another, like him just saying like she's weak and frail and she needs to leave and go and be, you know, in the scribe. It's not too late. It's not too late. Oh my god, he has drove me insane. I'm like, I hate this character so much. But at the same time, like, I feel like she's pretty whiny too. Like, I don't know. I'm hoping like as it goes and she gets stronger and stronger, it'll be less whining and she'll have like more of like that confidence of, I'm riding a fucking dragon right now. Like, she should have all the confidence in the world, you know? Like, besides that, I think I mentioned in the last part, I was really worried about Xaden, who's kind of like our brooding romance interest, that I'm like, I wonder how his character development is going to be. Is he going to like be this macho, I own you, and like more like, for me anyways, that kind of cringe, like the, you know, the head in their relationship or whatever type of ordeal. That is what I really was hoping to avoid, but so far I still feel like it could teeter that way. It's just rode that line in between not being that way and being that way. Not in a bad way, in a good way. I just hope as it goes, it doesn't teeter off into the more macho, like, I don't know. I'm not really into, like, that. So I really hope she doesn't do this with these characters. I hope that if it has to go one of those ways and it doesn't stay on that, you know, line in between, I hope it goes to, like, a little bit more caring, realizes, like, she's a badass and they're, like, more equal when it comes to this, and I mean, they both have dragons. But I am going to check on the muffins and I will check back in with you guys in a bit. I have a video to film and I'm kind of time crunching things now. So I'm going to film my video, get my makeup on my face and everything, probably try my muffins because I don't think I'm going to be able to wait once they're warm out of the oven. And then I will check back in with you guys and probably wrap up this video.
How does it feel? It feels satisfied as rags. Swerved it away, gone without a trace. Left me in a waste, to waste away. They got saving face, sleep on bloody stains. Leave me in a waste.
And that is a wrap on 4th Wing. You guys, I honestly did not anticipate loving this book as much as I truly do. I'm giving it 5 stars, which is wild to me because I never thought that I would be a dragon fantasy girly, but here I am. Do I have critiques, and is there things in this book that I really am not that big of a fan of? Absolutely. But with that being said, I flew through an almost, 500-page book the last 2 days, and mainly today, and I'm shocked at myself, personally. Wanted to finish this out because the muffins, they actually turned out, you guys, unlike my strawberry rolls, some vlogs back that I tried. I feel like I could still tweak it just a little bit, and I of course want to have the pumpkin seeds, so I want to redo them again this month and October whenever I'm going to make them, but I actually had quite a few. It makes like a dozen, so we have quite a few of the muffins, but they're really, really good still, and I love the cheesecake insides. Oh, so good. But yeah, Fourth Wing really did it. I will say there is a part at the end that I mentioned in the last section that I kind of seen coming, and I actually was right with one of my theories, which I will let you know in a minute when I get to spoilers. With that being said, there was still twist and the mind-blowing ending, which hopefully you don't spoil yourself with TikToks or anything like that. I have like stayed away from them this entire book because I didn't want to see any spoilers. But I definitely am intrigued for the second one, Iron Flame, that comes out in November. Definitely will be checking it out and reading as well. Now I just want to look up all the information about this book and just deep dive into it further. Also seen where a lot of people are coming out of this book, they just go into a reading slump because they just can't find anything as good. And I'm like, my month's been so strong that I hope that's not me. But what I can say about this though is it is very adventurous, it's very fun, it does give me some vibes, like cozy fantasy vibes of like Harry Potter, also like action, you know, sequences from that, also action kind of like the Hunger Games of just being very like cutthroat in a way. This is adult though, so it is very gruesome at times. Definitely spicy and steamy at times as well. For the most part, I found the characters to be pretty entertaining. Like I said, I kind of hope that the main character, Violet, I hope that she gets a little less whiny, but I am kind of already predicting that won't be the case in the second book, and we will have quite a bit of conflict going on that will cause her to whine a bit. But besides that, the other character developments with Xaden has been amazing. I really actually liked his character development and where that went. And not gonna lie, I just about shed some tears with this one for sure. It was definitely I need to stick this book in the freezer for a little bit, if you know that reference from Friends. But I'm going to leave you guys there, and I want to jump into a short spoiler section. So if you are going to dip, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. But now into a couple of spoilers that I want to get into. I actually really didn't want to spoil this one because you should read it. But I have to for the ones that have already read this book because I want to talk about it. But like, from a mile away, I seen it coming with Xaden betraying, or some type of conflict was going to happen where she's like, oh my gosh, he is a bad guy. They talked about that so much, and like everybody warning her, don't be with him, and him being like, you don't want this. I knew there had to be something where he was going to betray her or whatever. I felt like the conflict got over really fast. Like, obviously she's still mad at him because he lied to her or kept the truth from her. But I feel like that whole thing went over really fast. And I get because it becomes like a life or death situation with the war. So I kind of actually did appreciate that. So we didn't linger on it for too long. But the way she handles it, like now she's just like not going to talk to him. I'm like, girl, like a day ago, well, not really because she slept for a while, but like, you seriously were like, this was like the love of your life. You loved him so much. You were dropping everything in your life for this guy. And now you're just like, nope, you didn't tell me. Like, and it come to find out he's actually like the good guy. I'm like, what? There's going to be whining in the next book for sure. Also, her brother's alive. What? I definitely didn't see that one coming for sure, but I love this whole, like, this is like the revolution, like all of that. I'm so excited for the next one for that. I think it's going to be a very, I'm hoping very war, like we're going to be getting into it. And there is definitely some people, Dane, her mother, definitely characters like that I am so looking forward to their deaths and the series to come. And if I don't get that in this series, in the next couple of books, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. But besides that, the steamy, spicy scenes were a little much for me. I think I just hate the like back-to-back scenes where I think like I would have been good with just like that one, or like one here, one later on, instead of like back-to-back things. I do like the whole talking to dragons like in your head and how they're like bonded and like linked together. I thought I was gonna find that kind of weird, but I actually like it the more the story went on. I love the dragons, you guys. I love their personalities. I literally was telling myself, that's why I wanted to put the book in the freezer, because I'm like, if one of these dragons die, so help me. There was definitely some jokes in the group chat about the dragon sex. That was a little much for me. I could have done without that. I don't know. I'm excited to see where the series goes. I'm just hoping it's not going to go down like weird path of like her getting with like different people and then it just being like constant, like they're mad at each other and they're linked to each other, so it makes it even harder. But it was kind of wild how fast everything evolved with them, for it just being like the first book out of a series. It was pretty, like, I think from my understanding, I think it is supposed to be a longer series, so that was like a little wild for me. But I feel like it just went to 0 to like 90 like so fast with them, but I guess we'll see in the next one. But I'm foreshadowing half, if not more, of that book is going to be just kind of back to square one with the first one, of them not being together, and it's gonna probably drive me insane. But besides that, Liam and his dragon dying, I was so devastated. He was actually a character I was really starting to enjoy and really like him being around, and all of the backstories about like how he feels like he owes his life to Xaden for like taking on, which was so precious, him taking on like, you know, the scars for each of the over 100, you know, kids who were involved with the like traitor side or whatever. You guys will have to let me know what you thought of the book. I definitely want to try to keep the comments spoiler free so that people who have not read it, it's not spoiled for them, because that's the worst. But yeah, I had a lot of fun today, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. And I don't know, I guess I am a fantasy girl through and through now. We'll see. I definitely want to try some more, but I gotta go back to my horror for a bit. But thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today for another vlog, and I will see you in the next one.
Swept it away.